Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have the F100 in the house again. Today, as you can see behind me here, we have one project for this guy lined up. We are going to switch the carburetors out. There's a couple reasons why we're doing this. Alright, one of the main reasons why we're doing this is because it just doesn't run good. We originally put this engine in. It was a 302 crate motor from Summit Racing, I believe. You know, complete package deal, top to bottom. It came with a Holley 4-barrel 650 on it, which, you know, I haven't messed with carburetors that much, especially on automotive type stuff. We've heard, and you know, a lot of people have told us that they do run good. You just have to know how to tune them. Well, I've looked everywhere on this carburetor, called the company. I've tuned it every which way you can, north, south, east, west, everything. And it runs good when you're full throttle. If you're not full throttle on it, it doesn't run good. It's super rich for this motor. It's hard to start up. The electric choke kicks on and it stays on like for, you know, at least 10-15 minutes. You actually have to blip the throttle like 4 or 5 times to get the electric choke shaft to release and actually activate just on the idle and the butterfly. So for those reasons, it's just not worth it anymore. We're tired of messing with it. We've ran it for about a year. So we decided to go with the good old trusty Edelbrock 600. I've ran a couple of those before and they seem a lot easier, super easy to tune, super friendly. All right, first step we're gonna do is get in there and we're just gonna start disconnecting all the vacuum lines, fuel lines, and throttle cable. And this one has the TV cable for the transmission. So we'll get all those taken off, get them pulled aside, and then go from there. Now these carburetors are super easy to take off, but some of the positions on the vacuum lines can kind of be a booger. And there's a rear one here for our brake booster. I can't turn the carburetor sideways and just pull it off right now because it'll spill the fuel everywhere. So let's get you a little flathead screwdriver. You get in there and pry it just a little bit. It'll come off. And just like that, you got the carburetor off. Now let's see, if I had more time, I'll just blow this thing up. There you go. They're side by side. This is what we took off, the Holley right here. And like I said, I'm not a car guy by trade. You know, I've worked on them my whole life, but you know, I consider myself a tradesman motorcycle technician, builder, fabricator, I guess. If that's how you'd say it. So not familiar with these carburetors. I am familiar with these carburetors. I've worked on these a few times. So this is what we're going with. This is what we took off. So keep an eye out, or if you guys, one of you guys want this thing, let me know in the comments. I'll probably sell it pretty cheap. Like I said, it runs great at wide open, but I don't know if it's my inexperience or what with tuning them. I just couldn't get it to cruise around and tone down very good at idle, you know. Like I said, it's my dad's truck, so he's hardly ever full throttle on the thing. So anyway, I think it might just be, you know, not the best combo carburetor for his style of driving. So you guys let me know who wants that. All right, calm down. We're gonna do an unboxing. So here's Edelbrock, and this was purchased from Summit. So let's see, got some gaskets, looks like your choke connectors, throttle pin, vacuum line, blockers, some T's for vacuum lines, gasket, and air cleaner gasket. Got the carburetor. Using E85 will void your warranty. Okay. Note to self. So the carburetor looks good. First step we'll do is figure out our vacuum lines, because I know they're all different, and fuel lines. So we might have to lengthen or shorten some of the lines. So we will get in the book and see which vacuum ports are for the let's see, power brake booster and the distributor and crank vent. Those are the 3 vacuum lines we got hooked up on this engine, and obviously our fuel inlet. So first step. They got me. Spanish side. I got confused for a second. Flip it over for English. Boom, first page. That's what we're looking for. So we got our ports figured out. Both these can run your vacuum advanced distributor. Now, I would have just hooked up to either one had I not read the small print. The small print says on your left side right here, use this one if you are a emissions controlled engine. It says use the right side if you are a non-emissions controlled. Now, I'm not sure what the difference is, but we're gonna go ahead and plug the emissions vacuum option port because we are not emissions controlled. So I don't know if that like delays the timing or whatever it could do. There's numerous things. So we are gonna make sure that we run the non-emission side to our vacuum. This is our PCV, so that's your primary crank vent, I believe. So that's going to come from your valve cover on this unit, and then you got right here, you have your fuel inlet right there. This is a power brake booster. So I'm going to have to put a fitting in here or take one off the old carburetor because we do have power brakes on this truck. Last but not least, we wanted to keep this truck, original Ford pretty much. So we're running a Ford 302 crate motor and also a Ford AOD transmission, which is an automatic overdrive transmission. If you're familiar with that, it does have a kickdown cable. Most people are familiar with that with Chevys and the 700 R4s, all that stuff. So with Ford, for some reason, their kickdown cable adjustment, or where it needs to be, does not line up very well with the stock butterfly mechanisms and your throttle arm bracket on most carburetors. So for instance, on the Holly, on the Edelbrock, I guess they line up with Chevy perfectly. If you're running a Ford AOD, it is highly recommended that you run a correction bracket. I got this from Amazon, I believe. I'll put the link below. But this, I guess, correctly orientates your throttle linkage with your transmission and kickdown cable if you're running an early or older style automatic or overdrive transmission. Because on the Ford AODs, this controls your fluid pressure and when it should shift. So do not forget your linkage correction plate if you're running an OD transmission, all right? Just double check it. I'm pretty sure for GMs, the stock setup will work on pretty much everything. That's what I found out while building a Ford. With Ford, you have to get a correction bracket, adapter, plate, whatever, with almost everything you bolt onto this truck. So that's my 2 cents. Hope that helps. Alright, so right now we're pretty close. You can see this is a PCV port, I believe, and the fuel line's over here. So on the old Holly carburetor, the fuel line and PCV valve were kind of switched, so I might have to get some longer hose, extend the fuel line, hook it up over here. This port right here is our non-emission distributor timed vacuum. The port in the back, let's see, this one right here, that is our brake booster. And then our valve cover breather slash PCV. And then we have our linkages hooked up right here. You can see is a blue bracket for my Ford AOD transmission. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it said you needed this one for the 700 as well. I might be wrong, but just double check that. And my throttle bracket seems to hook up the same, and it seems like our cables are going to be almost right on. So let's get it hooked up. All our vacuum lines are hooked up. We're running our fuel line now. It was probably about 12 inches off from where it originally set with the Holly. But look at this filter Edelbrock sent. I mean, that thing is hideous, but I'm going to use it because we had some trash problems before in this truck. And the old filter, I don't know where I put it. It was a little black, you know, kind of smaller, probably from a dang motorcycle. So we're going to use this guy and see how it works. We got everything hooked up, and it actually went together pretty well. And last thing we got to do is install the little screw, which is what I'm doing right now for the air cleaner. So that's installed here. I got my fuel line hooked up here, and we're gonna get the air cleaner on and fire this bad boy up and see how she does. All right, we're all good. Everything is hooked up. Got the air cleaner on, and let's fire this thing up. All right, that sounds pretty good. That fired up pretty quick. Yeah. This thing feels awesome. I just heard the electric choke kick in again. So we'll have to tune that out, turn it down a little bit. Let's get it buttoned up and get it warmed up, and we'll go for a ride. I say she's fixed. She runs way better with this Edelbrock. Throttle response is like completely different. The pedal's way softer. It's not so stiff because the Holly has you know, the springs that are attached to the butterfly from the factory. So you don't add springs to like your pullback. So you know, test ride went good, shifts good. All right, that sums it up. We got the carburetor swapped out. Everything went perfectly, went smooth. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for future fun projects and builds.